So my name's Karanvir Sanghera and I'm the under-17s football manager, and I also help out with the club with like social media, welfare, and anything that needs helping out in the club.
How did you get involved with Punjab?
So my dad has been a football coach for many years, and that's how I kind of got into coaching football and managing teams. Him and Chippy, who's the owner, chairman, and the first team manager, went to school together, and they've been friends for many years. And before Punjab United, me and my dad had run a football club for a year, and we were struggling with players. And my dad had rang up Chippy saying, like, can you help us out, or like what the situation was. And that's kind of when Chippy was like, can your daughter manages teams, can she come down and coach our youth teams and get involved? And then from that, we kind of disbanded our club in a way because we were struggling to get players, but also then committed to here full-time coaching and helping out, and we've been here ever since.
And obviously your dad is a coach and has been a coach. What made you want to go down the same route?
I used to be part of a women's football team, so that's when I started playing at 16. And then I'd noticed how where he would be coaching and there'll be another manager doing all the management sides on match days. His tactics were slightly different to what I was aware of, or like how my dad used to coach. And I would always question my dad, be like, okay, why are we doing this in training sessions? And like, why is this? What's the meaning behind this? And like the philosophy behind it. And that kind of got me more intrigued on to understand how coaching and training sessions were built. And that's when I kind of became more interested in the coaching aspects. And then I did my level 1 and then continued further to my level 2s, and now I'm on my UEFA B. So that kind of intrigued my way of coaching, and I've been doing it since.
I see. And what's the most rewarding thing about being a coach, particularly here at Punjab United?
It's the atmosphere and the environment. Everyone, all like the teams and the management and everyone that you speak to have really like homely feel, like this is our home. Even when you walk through the gates at Punjab United, it feels like you're just arrived at home, essentially. And everyone's really good at communicating. Like they want to get the best out of the club. We want to get our name out there, try and get all our players, whether it's boys or girls, to be more committed to football and hopefully make them professional in at least we can get one player, then we kind of done our aim. And it's just seeing the reward at the players from you're teaching them to then understanding and then doing those on match days is a reward that they're listening, committing to what you're trying to teach them, and they're actually implementing it, and then them working as a team to then winning games and then winning leagues and competitions. That's the feeling that we want, and we love to see how people are growing, just not outside of football, but then for them to come to match day, especially like first team, then watching the first team players on the pitch, trying to like getting used to who they are, and their ambitions are to be on the pitch playing too. I know quite a few of my players are going through the academy levels, and they're looking in the future, and hopefully in a few years, to be on the pitch and play at first team for Punjab United. We've had players that have been here since the age of 8, so the only club that they've ever known is Punjab United. So them from committing to the age of 8 to then all the way up to for my team for being at 16 to then win the league. And every week we would get pestered from them saying, "What? Can we not go to first team training? Can we be in the team?" And then slowly grow from there. We've had success stories of Hudson, who plays for the first team now. He came through the academies. We've had a few of my players that have pre-season training with first team, so they're getting that development. So it's not like the club's first team and the youth section separated. Everyone's really good at being together and watching the youth teams grow, and then hopefully be in the first team one day.
Absolutely. And the stuff you're saying about it feeling really family orientated, I really feel that. I feel like welcome here as soon as I got here. And that's hard to achieve. Like not every club at this kind of level I go to, you get that feeling immediately. So that's really amazing. It's an amazing thing. And I know it's a lot to do with the people who are here and the people who run it. That's what clubs are made of, right? People. And tell me about, because obviously you know this, it's not every day you see a woman coaching lots of boys, particularly an Asian woman coaching lots of boys. What is that like? What's the experience? What are the challenges?
Yeah, so at first it's kind of like a weird feeling for me too, because I wasn't sure if whether my players were going to listen to me or if they were going to accept me to be part of the management team. But I think with these group of boys that I have, they were very easy and helpful for letting me to get involved. They would take what information that I had and they would listen to it and learn from it. And that kind of gave me an easy feel to be like, okay, no, this team is like a good atmosphere. The players are acting professional. That's kind of what we want from players. And they accepted me straight away. So I was quite happy to be involved and then take on from assistant role to management role. And yeah, we've done wonders from working as a team to winning a league to then going to winning a shield, being the first youth team to win at Punjab United. Yeah, and we've achieved a lot from him. But there has been more points in games, especially when you go to the opposition sides. We'll have managers who will assume that the manager's a male. I've had situations where I've been speaking to a manager pre-season. So I kind of abbreviate my name from Karanvir to Karen to make it sound like feminine, like, Karen's a common name. So when I'd be messaging, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine, from Karen. So pre-season, we scheduled this fixture. As with the opposition team, we kind of like turned up. We were waiting for the manager to come over to us, and his immediate reaction was to go to my dad and think he was Karen. So he was like, oh, hi, Karen, nice to meet you. And my dad was like, no, she's over there. Like, that's the manager. So it's kind of like those points where, okay, you wouldn't see that if you went to like different games. So it's kind of those like barriers that I kind of have to face in ways, but I let the football do the talking. So even if I have to face these things, I want my players to play football, to play the way that we've trained them and talked in the good chemistry that they have, to go out there to achieve the games, score those goals and win. That does all the talking for me. I don't have to react and say anything, because I know that I'm teaching my way of football to the players, and we've got a philosophy. And at the end of the day, if they're working together, they're scoring goals, they're winning. That's all we want from them. So that kind of puts the reaction to them, like, okay, you assume that a woman's coming, or like she's an admin lady, or she's not part of it. But what we're teaching them are the football, and that's working, because we'll go out there and we're winning games, and that puts a perspective to other opposition managers.
That's incredible. Yeah, well done on everything you do. Not just for kind of busting those perceptions from like managers and grown-up adults, but what impact do you think that has on the young boys that you're coaching to be coached by a woman?
Yeah, I feel like they have respect for hopefully for women in leadership roles. So I don't think, like, even when they grow older and they're not even involved in football anymore, when they go out there and they're working jobs and they might have a female who's their manager or a high position in their jobs, I think that kind of gives them the confidence to go out there and like to have conversations or speak to people, and not to be afraid that just because there's a woman in that power, or they're not familiar with the way that they work maybe, or like associate, that they don't need to be afraid of. Everyone's just human. We respect each other, as long as everyone's acting professional, respectful. That shows that we're doing good things and providing them the right philosophy for not just football but also life.
Absolutely. And we've spoken about how there's been points where you've had to take your team out of one league and take them to another. Tell me about that experience. Like, why was that, and why was there a need to move them over?
Yeah, I think because we live in Kent, where it's very populated with white people, and because the name Punjab United is a very Punjabi name, which is from India, so they kind of assume that we're going to be all Indians, or they don't really have a perspective of how we're going to be. So when we turn up, we're a very diverse team, especially with the under-17s. We've got Malaysians, we've got Romanians, we've got English, we've got Sikhs, so we've got a very wide range of people. And when we go to opposition games, they don't expect or have an understanding of what we're going to do, what level of football we have, or how we're going to communicate. So I think that kind of causes them issues. And then when we're playing football and we're in possession, or we're winning, that kind of gives them some sort of frustration and point to use, rather than letting the football do the talking. So that kind of triggered kind of things in those leagues, and that kind of brought down the boys' confidence. So we were kind of like, no, we don't want them to be in a toxic environment. We're trying to teach them to be positive. Like, we don't want players to drop out football just because they've had to deal with something. They're committed to playing for us. We want them to play, so there's no harm. So we were kind of more used to a different league. So we would join Kent in that situation. Start from the bottom, trying to get the confidence, trying to get our philosophy and foundations that we wanted, and then slowly progress. So when we moved over as 15s, we just took game by game. We were 1 point off from winning the league, and then pre-season we got some more players in, got them to. We had the core foundation, so we wanted to build more onto it. Took it game by game, and we ended up winning the league, and then progressed further to winning the Shield. So it shows that if the boys have the right attitude and they have a good chemistry and they are positive, they show that respect to everyone and professionalism, then the world's your oyster. You can do what you want with it, and that's what we try and encourage our boys to do.
Totally. And yeah, well done to you, your team, your dad, for like navigating all that must have been quite difficult, and taking it to a really positive place with lots of success afterwards. Last few questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you say to other women, particularly Asian women, who may be thinking about becoming a football practitioner or a coach in particular? What would you say?
Yeah, just go out there. It's kind of like do a bit of research. What is your local football club around? How they based on does their philosophy or like understanding kind of fit to what you want to do? Do you feel comfortable with that? And then just contact people in the club. Be like, hey, I want to be involved, whether it's like coaching or management or anything like that, or even playing, and get involved. Try and go out to like games. I think like first team games. If you've got like a huge a team that's in a higher league, get to know the people behind the scenes, because those are the people that you'll be spending a lot of time with, asking for feedback, questions. So if you have like a good rapport with them, that kind of gives you the confidence and the support to then take on the team and work for it. Times will be tough, you'll be facing a lot of things, but at the end of the day, the reward, the success that you're going to see from your players, for the coaching stars and achieving stuff, it's more rewarding than any of the journey that you're going to take.
Amazing. So there's an amazing image of Sidhu Moosewala by the entrance of the stadium. How did that end up there? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, so part of the main people that started the football club were huge fans of Sidhu Moosewala, and like the music will be played on our announcer every day, every home game. So he was a huge aspect, and then when he passed away, it was a huge loss in a way, and everyone felt it. So we wanted to make a memorial in a way, and to show that he's still part of the club, or like he's still involved. So we got this huge sign in the club. We even got his dad to come down and meet the club and the youth teams. We took photos, so that was a great day for the players to understand. A lot of our youth players are Punjabi Sikh, so they listen to a lot of his music too. So a lot of people were aware of who he was. Even other players that are not Sikh, they were kind of aware of like who he is, because all their friends were talking about it. So it was a huge feeling for us, and it felt right to bring his dad to the club, to see the memorial, the banner that we have of him. We gave him a T-shirt that had the album 295 on it. He then met all the 200 to 300 kids that we had at training that day. So it was a huge, it's our appreciation for him and for him and his son. And we've had it since. We'll play his music still to this day, and that's how that happened.
That's incredible, an incredible story, and amazing to see. Last one or two questions. What would be missing from your life, and if Punjab United didn't exist?
It would be a huge empty part of my heart, because I spend a lot of time at this place, whether it's trying to sort out fixtures, where I'm trying to be in the group chats, trying to sort out players, any welfare issues, helping out with social media. My Saturdays, Sundays will completely like be empty, or free at least, because we spend, if it's not training, it's first team matches or own matches. So I think if I weren't here, it would be huge different, or like me not being part of the club, it would be a huge. It would be a huge chunk missing. Where it's for the club, because I do a lot for the club, and I think it would work both ways. That it'd be a huge miss.
I see. And related to that, and very last question, what do you wish? There's so many amazing stories here, but to summarise, what do you wish the world knew about Punjab United?
How such a great family club that we are, even though we might have like 14 youth teams in the first team, but we're building to make those missions higher. We want to see our youth team slowly progress into the first team level and maybe even work higher. So if we can get into high leagues, that shows that, or one player gets recruited into like a professional team, we've kind of done our job, because we've taught them from a young age how to progress further, learn those life skills, learn those playing aspects, and give them the confidence and the support that no matter what you're doing or what you're facing, we're helping you and supporting you to become that professional. And it then shows that Punjab United have a quality to produce players, and that kind of brings up more South Asian awareness, or if it's someone from a different background, that they've got the support, and Punjab United will always be with them.
Well, Karanvir, thank you for everything you do, and thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Cheers.